couple of years ago, I started trying to distill essential oils from the stuff we grow in our gardens. I will never again complain about the price of oils at the store. My wife and I have gardens, plural. We got the raised beds where we grow herbs and onions and other small things. And we've got the bigger garden where the veggies grow. Asparagus, kale, sage, mint, oregano. Lots of oregano. Last spring, I harvested a lot of oregano, and my intention was to distill it down into essential oil right away. Life happened. The box sat in my workbench, in the way, for months. It was nagging me every time I went through the garage. And finally, I ran out of excuses, and I had a moment when I had enough energy to push through the wall of awful. So I sat down, put on BBC Six, and did the most mindless thing possible. Spent an hour stripping the oregano leaves from the stems. Distilling essential oil is easy. You just heat the plant and collect the vapor that comes off. Doing it, where you can actually collect most of the oil without destroying it, is the tricky bit. You can boil the plant, which works, but it can damage the heat-sensitive oils. I prefer to put the plants in a vessel and force steam through it. This method is more gentle, and the yield is higher. Collecting steam is easier than it sounds. You just need to cool it down. If you have a closed system, you just need to let the steam rise up far enough from the heat source, and it will cool on its own, and then drip right back down into the hot parts. If you give the steam another path to go, which is cooler, you can control it. The spiral mad scientist bit of glass is a condenser. Cool water flows around the outside of the spiral from the blue bucket and returns to the bucket to be cycled through again. The hot steam comes in at the top of the condenser, cools down, and spirals down into the bottom. When you control the temperature properly, the compounds that boil at lower temperatures, the volatile organic compounds, evaporate first and get collected. The compounds that boil at higher temperatures just drip down into the boiling flask at the bottom. The heat needs to be high enough, but not so high that the oils break down or the undesirable compounds evaporate. The condenser needs to be cool enough, but not so cool that it clogs. Some volatile compounds aren't oil. These absorb into water. The mix of water and hydrophilic compounds is called hydrosol. Some hydrosol is useful. I like soaking my feet in oregano hydrosol. Witch hazel is a hydrosol that many people use for skincare. Were I OCD about it, I would document the temperatures that work for various plants, but I just do it by feel. I can tell by looking or touching the head, that's the bit at the very top, if it's warm enough or too hot. If the condenser is clogging, I'll stop the pump for a bit until it warms up enough, which is what happened with some of these batches. Normally I have the opposite problem and I need to put ice in the bucket to bring the temperature down. The yield on this oregano was very high. I did 6 batches, which would have taken about 20 batches were it fresh. I got over 10 milliliters of beautiful golden oil. What do we do with the oregano oil? It works as an antiseptic for cuts. It smells good. And a tiny drop goes a long way to flavor Italian dishes. Mostly, it's about the process. It's about doing something with something that's growing in my garden.